All right, you guys, these are the notes for lipids in Unit 1. These go after your carbohydrate notes. Okay, so carbohydrates we learned about, those are sugars. So now we're going to get into fats. So lipids are fats. They are defined primarily by their physical properties and their chemical properties. And then secondly, they're defined by their, like what atoms they're made of. They're different from the other macromolecules that we'll be learning about. Completely different. You should be able to tell the difference between a lipid and a carbohydrate. They are heterogeneous, which means there's different kinds. They are soluble in non-polar solvents. So that means a fat would be dissolved in a oil. It would not dissolve in something polar like water. So lipids do not dissolve in water. And so lipids are hydrophobic, which means they are water-fearing. Hydrocarbons, which I mentioned last unit, those are composed of mainly carbon and hydrogen. Those are considered to be lipids. There are four functions of lipids. They store energy in their bonds between the carbons, and they store energy in their bonds between the carbon and the hydrogens. They're structural as well, kind of like carbohydrates were. They are in cell membranes. They also serve as thermal insulation in the fat and animal bodies, and they also can be ligands, which are signaling molecules. There are 5 types of lipids that we're going to go through. We're going to go through the main one, which is triglycerides, phospholipids. We're going to get into glycolipids, steroids, and then waxes. All right, so first one is triglycerides. If you look at the word, tri means 3, and the glyceride is referring to a part of the molecule. These are fats or lipids that are solid at room temperature, and if they're oil, they are liquid at room temperature. They are composed of, and I'll show you the diagram in a minute, one glycerol. A glycerol molecule is a 3-carbon sugar that has no aldehyde group. An aldehyde group is one of those functional groups from last section. And they have 3 fatty acids. That's where the tri word comes from. These 3 fatty acids in this glycerol is bonded by a bond called an ester linkage. And it is bonded by a condensation or dehydration synthesis reaction, which means every time it bonds, we need to remove a water molecule. Fatty acids have a carboxyl group, so you should be able to recognize that. And some triglycerides have double bonds in their structure. And when they do have a double bond, it causes a bend in what it looks like in the fatty acid chain. So I'll show you that in a minute. They are storage molecules. So that means it stores that energy in its molecules. It is extremely hydrophobic. It does not like water. All right, so this is a triglyceride. Here is what a glycerol looks like. So you can see it's got 3 carbons, and it kind of looks like a sugar, but it has these 3 hydroxyl groups here. And then this is a fatty acid. These right here, this example here, are 3 fatty acids right here for the triglyceride. So here's your glycerol in the purple, and then you got 3 different fatty acids attached to it. And so this bond right here is where it got attached to. You can see in the blue that the water gets removed. So a water was removed here, a water was removed here, and a water was removed here. For these 3 fatty acids, sometimes you get double bonds in there. See the double bonds? They look like equal signs. When you get a double bond, you can see in the picture here, it causes a kink in the molecule. For linoleic acid, you got 2 double bonds. So it causes a second kink in the structure. So this is called a triglyceride, is the main lipid that we talk about. For the fatty acids, they can be either saturated or unsaturated or polyunsaturated. And in this example, it actually has one of each. All right, so when I say it's a saturated fatty acid, that means that all of these bonds between the carbons, see how there's so many carbon bonds bonded to hydrogens? There's no double bonds here. They are all single bonds. A saturated fatty acid has no double carbon-carbon bonds. There's so many, lots and lots of hydrogens. Animal fats are going to have a lot of saturated fatty acids in them. The second one right here, you can see there's a double bond. So you might want to circle that or highlight these on your notes. The oleic acid is considered an unsaturated fatty acid because it has a double bond. The double bond is between the carbons. You're ignoring the one for the oxygen over here, so you're ignoring that carboxyl group over there. And this, if it has a lot of unsaturated fatty acids, it's going to be a liquid. And then this last one is also unsaturated because you can see the double bonds, but there's more than one. So they call that a polyunsaturated fatty acid. Here's another picture of it. So if you have a triglyceride, because you have three of them here, and they all are saturated, which means there's no double bonds. See how they're all linear? There's no kinks in the structure. This is what butter looks like, and that is a solid at room temperature because it's saturated. Here's an unsaturated fatty acid. So you got polyunsaturated actually. So you got some, kinks going on. You can see the kinks in the structure. These are unsaturated fatty acids. And so when you have a triglyceride like that, this is like liquid at room temperature, like olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. All right. So this is kind of like the carbohydrates we did. To bond the glycerol to these three fatty acids, you have to remove a water, each time. So you're removing 3 waters to get that bond. That is called the ester bond. All right, our second lipid is a phospholipid. Notice it's different. It's composed of 2 fatty acids. One of them is always going to be saturated and the other one is going to be unsaturated, and it is also combined or bonded to a glycerol molecule. The difference between a phospholipid and a triglyceride is going to have a phosphate group on there and another molecule, I'll show you what it looks like, called a choline. Phospholipids are different because they have part of their molecule, the fatty acids, are hydrophobic and hate water, but they have this phosphate group and this choline group, which love water and is hydrophilic. So you have a molecule that has hydrophilic end and a hydrophobic end, and that is called an amphipathic molecule. And this is a structural lipid. It makes up the cell membrane. There's 2 layers, phospholipids and proteins, and when we learned about cells, we'll learn more about the cell membrane. But this is what we got here. All right, so here is our glycerol. We'll start with the glycerol because that's what you're used to. Here's a glycerol, and notice it is bonded to 2 fatty acids. One of them is saturated. You see how it's all single bonds. And this top one here has a double bond right there, which causes the kink, and that is the unsaturated fatty acid. This glycerol is bonded to a phosphate group. That's one of the functional groups from this first section. And then this is what choline looks like. It has a nitrogen in the middle and then some methyl groups kind of around it. And this parts, the choline and the phosphate part, love water, and these fatty acids hate water. And so it actually is a great molecule to make up the cell membrane, where water is going to be where the phosphate and the cholines are, and the fatty acids will be in the inside where the water is not. So when we get into the cell membrane, we'll learn more about that. So you can see the hydrophilic is the phosphate part and the choline, and then here are your 2 fatty acids, which are going to be in the inside in the cell membrane. Okay. Our third lipid is called a glycolipid. If you look at the word glyco, you should remember that means glucose or refers to glucose, and a lipid is a lipid. So it is similar to phospholipids. There's no phosphate group, but it has glyco in it, which means it has a short carbohydrate sugar chain attached to it. It is also a component of the cell membrane. So you can see right here, it looks like a little antenna, a glycolipid, and it communicates. This is a cell membrane right here, and it helps the cell to communicate outside the world. Okay. Another one is steroids. Steroids have 4, you can kind of see them right here in the diagram, 4 linked carbon rings, and they're kind of fused together. And then they have this, crazy hydrocarbon chain. Every steroid has a different hydrocarbon chain coming off of it. And sometimes these bonds might be a little bit different on the 4 rings. You can see this one is cholesterol. That is a steroid. This one is cortisol. It's a hormone. And you can see the bonds are just a little bit different, but they all have this like chain coming off of them. Sometimes they'll have a hydroxyl group, which is right here. You should be able to recognize hydroxyl group. Steroids are important signaling molecules, and they can be hormones. All right, there's a picture of some of them. You can see they all look similar. 4 fused rings with a chain coming off of the one end. Testosterone is an example. Progesterone for females is another example. Okay. And the last lipid we're going to talk about is waxes. I'm not even going to show you what they look like chemically, but they're similar to triglycerides, but they don't have fatty acids. So it's kind of a strange situation. There's no glycerol. Instead, it has an alcohol. So again, you're not going to have to know what these ones look like, but you just have to know that they are found on many living things and they need to conserve water, like the wax on a leaf. Like sometimes you might touch a leaf and then get sticky or have that weird feeling on your fingers. That's the wax that's on them. That's also insects can secrete wax. Again, the leaves and fruit sometimes have wax on them. All right. And there is the structure, but you're not going to have to recognize it. Okay. That's what wax looks like. And then lastly are our lipid foods. So, and all of these are lipids. So please write down any oil. It doesn't matter what kind of oil it is. Vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, peanut oil, anything that says oil is going to be a lipid. You also have lard, which is pictured right here. It's kind of like a solid version of the oil. Then you have butter and margarine, and then animal fat as well. And that finishes up our notes for lipids. All right.